Algebra 2 Builder, number 1. This is a set of Algebra 2 exercises that takes place at the beginning of class. And so most of these skills are prerequisite skills, allegedly, for Algebra 2. My recommendation in going through these exercises is to work out the problem you see first, and then just scroll ahead to see if your solution is okay. So there's several problems here. Here we have 4 minus 3 times 22x minus 5 equals 6x minus 7. So the idea here is to isolate this unknown x. And the first thing I'm going to do is distribute property of algebra. Negative 3 times 2x is going to be 6x. And then negative 3 times negative 5 is going to be plus 15. And then on the right side, we bring down just 6x minus 7. Now, we can combine these like terms of 4 and 15, so we have negative 6x plus 19 is equal to 6x minus 7. We're going to bring our unknown again to the left side, and to do that, we're going to subtract 6x from both sides of this equation. And then, so we have negative 12x plus 19 is equal to negative 7. Now if we subtract 19 from both sides of this equation, we get negative 12x is equal to negative 26. We divide by negative 12, and so we have x is equal to, and negative over negative cancel, and 26 over 12 is reduced to 13/6. So that is our answer for this first problem. Next, solve, show your answer graphically with set builder and interval notation. Show your answer graphically. Okay, I guess that'd be on the number line. So here we have an inequality as opposed to an equation. We have a less than symbol instead of an equal sign. But otherwise, very similar to solving an equation. So we're going to, just like we did in the first problem, isolate our unknown by bringing our unknown to the left side. And to do that, we're going to subtract 6x from both sides of this inequality. And so we have 4x minus 6x, we have negative 2x plus 5 is less than negative 7. Next, if we subtract 5 from both sides of the inequality, we have negative 2x is less than negative 7 minus 5 would be negative 12. And then if we divide by negative 2, we have x is less than 6. But is that really true? No, it is not. Because when you divide or multiply an inequality by a negative number, you switch the direction of the inequality symbol. So we're going to have x is greater than 6. And that will be our answer. And then we are also asked to give this, show answer graphically. To do this graphically, we can create a number line. And so if we have 0 here, 6 here, a number line solution looks like this. We have greater than, which is open, and just arrow to the right. So that's what our graphical solution looks like. Set builder notation, very similar to the inequality notation here. And to set builder notation, first thing is to have a bracket. So you have x such that, this little vertical line segment, x is greater than 6. Very similar to our inequality notation. And lastly, our interval notation. We have interval notation uses parentheses and brackets, commas. And we're greater than 6, so we'll put open parentheses, 6, comma, and we're going up to less than infinity. So here we are, set builder notation and interval notation, and also our graphical number line notation. Okay, next. Let's go to next problem. Evaluate expressions. This expression here, when x equals 4, what I'm going to do is simply substitute in 4 inside parentheses wherever I see x, and then just simplify from there. Now, why do I recommend putting your 4 that you're substituting inside parentheses? That's because of order of keep you out of trouble with regard to order of operations. So 3 times 4 is 12 minus 2, and we're going to simplify inside this parentheses here. We have 3 minus 4 times 4, and 4 times 4 is 16. 3 minus 16 is going to be negative 13. And so we have 12 plus, because minus minus, 26. So our answer, our evaluation here for x equals 4 is 38. Next, PV equals nRT, an equation that you might have seen back in your chemistry days or physics days. I think it's the gas law. Pressure volume equals number times R, T. I forget what R is. We're going to solve for T. And to do that, we're going to isolate this T by itself. And to do that, we're going to divide by NR. And then we divide our left side by NR also. And we have cancellation here. And so we end up with T is equal to PV over NR. And this equation allows you to see that your temperature is directly related to pressure and volume, but inversely related to NR. Next, relations function. Determine if the function is a function, relations function, find the domain range. Function, yes or no. Well, what you have is negative 1 to negative becomes negative 2. That's right, 1 becomes 1. But 0, we don't know which way it's going to go. It could either go to negative 1 or to I guess it's going to 0. That doesn't look like it's really pointing. It looks like it's going to 0. So we really can't tell for sure. And so this is not a function. If there are two y's for an x, it's not a function. Domain is going to be our x values. So I'll put these brackets here. Negative 1, comma 0, comma 1. And our range is going to be our output values. And by convention, what you do is go with your smallest number first and then go up from there. What you've done in each case for domain and range. Next, word problems. Footballs cost $22 each. The director has $277 in his budget to spend on footballs. There's a $13 shipping fee per order. So your total cost, and I'll put total cost is equal to our fixed cost, which is $13 shipping fee, plus 22F. Now I'm going to call it F for football. And so we know the total cost is $277. So we place this C with 277. We have an equation we can work with. And when we solve for F, we have our number of footballs for our answer. In this equation here, the first thing we can do is subtract 13 from both sides of the equation. And so 277 minus 13, that's 264. The 264 equals 22F. And then if we divide both sides of this equation by 22, we should get our number of footballs. And so we can just make a little long division here. 264, 22 goes into 26 one time. 1 times 22, 22. 26 minus 22 is 4. Bring down this 4. 44 divided by 22 is 2. 2 times 22, 44. We have no remainder, and so we know we can have 12 footballs. I'm just going to abbreviate. 12 footballs is what we can get for this amount of money. Next, vocabulary exercise. Here you have 6 words and 4 blanks. Blank is the first set of first elements in the ordered pair table. So if we have like 0.1, comma 2, -3, comma 4, and so on. Our first element here is going to represent our domain. And so our domain goes up here. Next, blank, a value for variable or an ordered pair that makes an equation true. Well, we have a solution. It's just like we went back here. 12 is the number for F that makes this a true equation. And we saw another solution here. So we call this a solution. Blank is a type of problem that often has a set of answers that can be written in interval notation. And we saw that back here, interval notation. And so that would have been an inequality. Okay, last, a relation in which every input has exactly one output. That's going to be a function. We had an exercise in that just a little while ago. Okay, next one. Change the slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. Find the slope. So you're given this equation here. And so we're going to do the first thing, go to slope-intercept form. 3x minus y equals 4. First thing I'm going to do is isolate y. And to do that, we're going to subtract 3x from both sides of this equation. So we have negative y equals 4 minus 3x. Now to get y, we can divide or multiply this whole equation by negative 1. I'm going to divide by negative 1. And what we have in this case, we have y, instead of equals 4 minus 3x, we have 3x minus 4. So that is going to be our slope-intercept form. And it says use 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2 for x values. So negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2. And if we plug in 0 into our slope-intercept form, we get y equals negative 4. So we can just put negative 4 here. And it says y-intercept down here, negative 4. Well, we're down here, m equals, well, m is our slope. Y equals mx plus b. Well, m is equal to 3. Okay, and now we'll just fill in these other points. If we plug in negative 2 for x, we get 3 times negative 2, which is negative 6 minus 4, that's negative 10. We have negative 1 times 3, which is negative 1 minus 4 is negative 7. If we plug in 1, we get 3 times 1 minus 4 is negative 1. If we plug in 2, we get 2 times 3, which is 6 minus 4 is 2. And let's see. We can just go ahead and graph this. All right, send the graph. So our first point is we have negative 2 comma negative 10. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, negative 10. So negative 2, negative 10 is going to be about here. Negative 1 comma negative 7 is going to be here. Our y-intercept, negative 4. We have put in 1. We get negative 1. And finally, if we plug in 2, we get 2. So you can see these points all forming a line. And the last thing we can do, we're asked to do, is find our x-intercept. Well, to do that, we can take our equation up here, and we can let y equal 0. So if we put 3x minus 0 equals 4, we just have 3x is equal to 4. So working to the right here, x is equal to 4 over 3. So we'll put x-intercept as 4 over 3. And what is 4 over 3? That's going to be 1 1/3. So that is consistent with our graph. Next problem we're going to look at, I think this might be the last one we do, is our distributive property. So we're going to simplify this. And we distribute this negative 8k. So we'll bring down negative 6k cubed minus 3k. Now the distribution here, negative 8k times 2k squared is going to be negative 16k cubed. And then negative 8k times 5 is going to be minus 40k. And now we're just going to combine like terms. Negative 6k cubed minus 16k cubed is going to be negative 22k cubed. And negative 3k minus 40k is going to be minus 43k. Okay, so that's going to be this thing simplified. And the last one we're going to look at here. You can work this out different ways. There's this FOIL first, outside, inside last. You've probably seen that. That could work. There are other ways of doing this too. One way that you can do this is do what we can call a box method, where you just break up the cells and put the terms. We can put 7x minus 2y on top. On the side, we can put x minus 2y and just multiply in the cells. So on this upper left, we have 7x squared. In the upper right, we have minus 2xy. And the lower left cell, we have negative 2y times 7x, we're going to get negative 14xy. And the lower right, we're going to have negative 2y times negative 2y is going to be 4y squared. And the last thing we're going to do is combine the like terms. So our answer is going to be 7x squared and then we have negative 14xy minus 2xy is going to be minus 16xy. And then we have plus 4y squared. So that's it. I hope you learned something here. I hope that if you didn't get all these right, that you learned something from the exercise. Good luck, and thanks for viewing.